Welcome to Global Exploration, where we bring the traveling to you. Sit back and relax as we dive into 10 of the best places Italy has to offer. The world that we live in is filled with amazing scenery that many tourists would die for. From a cliffside village that outlooks the entire town to a bell tower with a spectacular view. Now let's get exploring. Starting with number 1. The Colosseum, Rome. The Colosseum is an elliptical amphitheater in Rome, Italy. Despite its age, it is the largest standing amphitheater ever built in the world. It is built of travertine limestone, volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete. It has an average crowd capacity of 65,000 people but can have up to 80,000. It was used for gladiatorial competitions and public shows including animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous wars, Roman mythology-based dramas, and even imitated naval combat. In the early medieval period, the building was no longer used for entertainment. It was later used for many other things such as a workshop, a fortress, and a Christian shrine. Despite being severely damaged by earthquakes and stone robbers taking spolia, the Colosseum remains a renowned emblem and was listed as one of the 7 wonders of the world. Number 2. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, Cinque Terre. The construction of the Tower of Pisa began in August 1173 and lasted 200 years due to the outbreak of many wars. It was designed as a circular bell tower that stands at 185 feet high. It is built of white marble and consists of 8 floors, including the bell chamber. The bottom level is made up of 15 marble arches and the next 6 stories, each have 30 arches that surround it. The final story is the bell chamber itself, which has 16 arches. Inside, a 295-step spiral staircase leads to the top of the building. The tower is slightly bent as a result of previous architects' efforts to prevent it from leaning farther or collapsing. Still till this day, the architect's name remains unknown. Many proposals have been made to straighten the Tower of Pisa, including dismantling it stone by stone and rebuilding it in a different place. The foundations were pumped with cement grouting in the 1920s, which helped to stabilize the structure. Due to the construction work, guests were not permitted to climb the stairs until recently. As of now, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is open again. Number 3. Duomo di Milano, Milan. The construction of Duomo di Milano, officially begun in 1386 by the bishop Antonio di Saluzzo and was supported by the ruler, Milan Visconti, who had lofty ideas for the cathedral. Though it initially began with terracotta stone, as the grandeur of the project became clear, Candaglian marble from Lake Maggiore was chosen. This pink-hued white marble covers the entire structure. Canals were dug up to transport materials from the Candaglian quarry to the construction site, evidence of which is still visible along the canals, left over from the network established in the southern Milan specifically for that purpose. Architects from across Europe were chosen to work on the project, and as it grew, construction dragged on over the years. It became official in 1418, but only the nave was completed at the time. Heavy building continued for another 200 years. For centuries, Milan Cathedral remained unfinished. Many obstacles kept the cathedral on standby. Napoleon completed the facade and sped up the last stages of building. This cathedral may be the world's longest working cathedral in the world. A 5-year cleaning effort began in 2002. And routine restorations and cleaning are ongoing. Number 4. Phoenix Castle, Aosta Valley. The Aosta Valley region is known for its castles, and is perhaps one of the most visited. In comparison to other castles, it is not placed in an elevated position, which is ideal for war purposes, but rather in a hilly area with no natural defenses. As a result, massive fortifications were built between 1320 and 1421 by Boniface I. Following the family's downfall and selling the manor, it underwent a period of decadence during which it was used for more rural functions. Alfredo de Andrade bought the property and began remodeling it. The castle was soon donated to the state and declared a national monument. The floor plan is pentagonal and is in line with the medieval style. The castle's residential area is enclosed by double crenellated walls with towers and a walkway. A small square tower with bar shutters close in the event of danger. It has 3 stories and gives an idea of what life was like within the medieval manor. The inner courtyard of the castle is one of the most remarkable features. A fresco of St. George destroying the dragon dominates a large semicircle stairway. The courtyard walls are fully painted with geometric designs in the International Gothic style. The upper levels contain 2 galleries with wood railings and a collection of wise men and prophets on their walls. This castle is one of Italy's best preserved medieval fortresses. Number 5. Positano, Amalfi Coast. Positano is a cliffside village on the Amalfi coasts in southern Italy. It was a wealthy market post that hosted medieval deals in fish trade and other goods. Ever since the time of the Roman Empire, it has been a resort destination and tourist attraction. The colorful Majolica cupola of the Church of Santa Maria Assunta is one of Positano's most recognizable sights. You can also explore the ancient Roman domus next to the church, the uncovered ruins of a beach villa. The Roman Archaeological Museum, located in the villa, is opened all year for guided tour. Take in the Saracen Towers, ancient watch towers placed on strategic locations along the shore that used to protect the residents from pirates. There are plenty of other things to do here, such as scuba diving, visiting a lemon farm, wine touring and hiking along the cliff, overlooking the bright buildings and beautiful water below. The ferries and boats that depart from the pier are the most convenient way to travel from Positano to nearby towns. There are also SETA buses. Due to excessive traffic and limited parking, driving should be avoided. Number 6. Library Acqua Alta, Venice. Considered to be the most beautiful bookstore in the world, it is made up of several overcrowded rooms piled high with books, magazines, maps, and other artifacts. There is staircase leading up to it, is created from damaged books. Due to Venice's regular flooding, these piles are all housed within bathtubs, waterproof bins, and full-size gondolas in one room. The name itself translates to bookstore of high water. When the water in the local rivers rises to fill the store, the water can rise inches from the floor, destroying any other collections. The snug atmosphere is reflected in its fire escape, which is just a door leading straight into the canal. More than one stray cat has made the store its own, being able to escape the rising tides by staying on top of the stacks. Library Acqua Alta is a known tourist attraction that draws huge crowds. To avoid those crowds, you should go at opening or closing times and on weekdays. Number 7. The Lamberti Tower, Verona. The Lamberti Tower is the tallest building in Verona, standing at 276 feet tall and does not have the same look as we know of it today. Lightning struck the top of the building in 1403, but it wasn't until 1448 that they began the long restoration and elevation that was completed 6 years later, with the addition of the octagonal bell chamber in brick and white marble. Later, it was set up with a clock, which replaced the one nearby, Torre Gardello, that stopped working. It is available to the public, and visitors are able to climb to the belfry by steps or elevator. The top of the tower offers a 360-degree view of the city. The palace has a courtyard and an irregular quadrangular design, with a tower on each corner, with the Lamberti Tower being one of them. The palace was built in the Romanesque style, with the distinct alternating ashlars of tufa and terracotta found in the lower half of the tower. The bells inside, Rango and the Marangona, signaled the public life of the city. The tower is one of the most iconic landmarks in Verona, as well as the oldest and most picturesque squares in the city. Number 8. St. Francis Basilica. The church began construction in the year 1228 and has been built on the side of a hill. The architecture is a blend of Gothic and Romanesque style. The church is divided into 2 sections, the lower church for the pilgrims, and the top church for the clergy. The saint is buried in the lower church, which features frescoes. A massive earthquake in 1997 destroyed the ceiling, dumping loads of debris into the sanctuary and shattering the frescoes into thousands of pieces. On the left side of the church, there is a huge Romanesque bell tower. The top church contains paintings by Giotto and his followers, portraying events from St. Francis' life as well as wall painting scenes of the Old and New Testament. It is quite large in size, well lit, and has a 4-bay single nave with a cross-vaulted ceiling. Every bay includes 3 separate frescoes on either side of the nave, and there are 2 at the entrance. The ceiling has various patterns of leaves and crosses, and has 4 vaults, decorated with paintings and stars. The crypt was constructed in 1818, which houses St. Francis' remains. The lower church has enormous rose windows, and 2 little windows on either side, known as the church's eyes. This church has a single nave, with many side chapels that are embellished with arches. The nave is painted with a fresco that is said to be the oldest in the cathedral. Number 9. The Blue Grotto, Capri. The Blue Grotto is a sea cave on Capri's shore that can only be reached by squeezing through a narrow opening at water level. The cave measures 197 feet long by 82 feet wide. At low tide, the opening is 6.5 feet wide and around 3 feet high, making safe access possible only when the tides are low and the sea is calm. Visitors must lie flat on the bottom of a 4-person rowboat within the grotto using a metal chain fastened to the cave's wall. The light emerges from a tiny arched entranceway and a large hole someplace below the above-water entrance. Objects submerged in this water become silver. This is created by small bubbles that cover the outside of the object when it is underwater. The bubbles cause light to refract differently than it would in the surrounding water, resulting in the silver effect. During Roman times, the grotto was used as a personal swimming hole as well as a marine temple. It was accented with various statues and resting spots around the cave's edges. 3 statues of Roman sea gods were found from the grotto floor in 1964 and are now on display in an Anacapri museum. In 2009, 7 statue bases had been retrieved from the grotto's floor, and there are at least 4 more to be found on the cave floor. Number 10. Uffizi Gallery, Florence. The Uffizi Gallery, located in Florence's historic center, is one of the world's largest and most well-known museums. It houses a priceless collection of works, mainly from the Italian Renaissance. The gallery had been opened by request to visitors since the 16th century, and it was officially opened to the public in 1765. The building began in 1560 to house the city officers' offices, hence the name Uffizi, or offices. The gallery on the top level was designed for the family and their guests. The Medici family's collection's artworks were to be displayed. Over the decades, the Medicis accumulated a vast collection of manuscripts, gems, coins, and cameos. Larger areas of the palace had been converted into exhibition spaces for paintings and sculptures gathered, or commissioned, by the Medicis over the years. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the best places Italy has to offer. Remember, the adventure doesn't end here. Let me know in the comments below which location and city was your favorite. Don't forget to like and subscribe.